In this video, I'm going to talk about how to do ramp problems in physics. Ramp problems are very specific free body diagram problems where the object is on some kind of inclined plane. And there's a very specific pattern for doing ramp problems that if you memorize makes everything much easier. So we're going to imagine that we have this object on a ramp with a certain angle. So I'm going to start drawing the forces on this object, imagining that it is not moving. The first force we would have is the force of gravity, which always points straight down. Then the normal force, which always points at a 90-degree angle to the surface. You'll notice that here it's not pointing straight up, it's pointing at a 90-degree angle to the surface that's creating it. And the force of friction must be the third force, which is holding this object up and preventing it from sliding down the ramp. There are no other possibilities for what that force can be in this specific situation. So if I wanted to understand what was going on here, I could break up these forces into x components and y components and try to solve the problem, but that would take a while. There's actually an easier way of doing this. So basically the idea of ramp problems is we're going to rotate the x and y axis. The reason we can do this is that the x and y axis were invented by people, by humans. It's just a system that we impose on the world, and there's no reason why it has to be one particular way. So if I rotate the y-axis and the x-axis to match the normal and the friction force, I now only have one force that has an x component and a y component, and that's the force of gravity. You can see here that this would be its y component because that's how far along it goes along the y-axis, and this would be its x component because this is how far it goes along the x-axis. So now that I have only one force that has an x component and y component, this is going to be much easier for solving the problem. So I can see just looking at these forces that if these are all balanced, if they all add together to make zero, that means that the normal force is going to balance out with the gravity's y component, and the friction is going to balance out with the gravity's x component. So if I can find the x and y component of gravity, then I'm going to know the value of the normal force and the frictional force as well. One last thing you're going to need to know is that the angle between the gravity and that new rotated y-axis is always going to equal the angle of the ramp. I'll include a proof at the end of this video if you don't understand why, but for now I'm just going to leave that angle there. That identity will always be true. So now we can start to solve for missing forces. If I replace gravity as mg, I can see that the y component here is going to be mg cosine theta because that's the side that is adjacent to the angle. And mg sine of theta is going to be equal to the x component on this new axis. So because the normal and the y component are equal, here the normal is going to equal mg cosine theta, and the force of friction is going to equal mg times the sine of theta. This pattern will always hold for ramp problems like this. So as an example, if we have a problem that asks a 10 kilogram box sits on a 30-degree ramp, what force of friction keeps it in place, we can use these identities to figure it out. I can see that the force of gravity is going to be 98.1 newtons. And if I rotate the axes and find these new x and y components, I can say that this angle here is also 30 degrees by the rule that that's the same angle as the ramp itself. And so each of these components are equal to this and this, 98.1 times the cosine of 30 and times the sine of 30. So those are the values of the x and y components along these new rotated axes. And so that is equal to the normal force, and that is equal to the force of friction. So that is my answer. What force of friction keeps it in place? The answer here is 49 newtons. That's what friction has to balance out in the gravity to keep it at zero. Other forces can also take the place of friction. We can imagine that we have tension, a rope holding it up, a spring holding it up, things like that, a person holding it up, but those are always going to be equal to that same mg times sine of the angle. If there are more forces acting on the object, but you know that the object isn't moving or moving at a constant velocity, you'll need to use the rule from Newton's first law that both tilted axes must add together to make zero altogether. So as long as you're using that rule, you'll still be able to add these forces together. Okay, so that's it for the video. I'm just going to include a quick proof that those two angles are equal. So when we look at our force of gravity, it's going straight down, and it intersects with the bottom of this ramp with a 90-degree angle because the bottom is perfectly horizontal. We can also draw the normal force at a perfect 90-degree angle to the ramp because that's what the normal force is. It's a 90-degree force to the surface. And so if that angle is 90 degrees, this angle here is also going to be 90 degrees. So the sum of those two angles that I just drew must be equal to 90. Looking at just this triangle, I can see that if the red angle is theta, the purple angle must be 90 minus theta using triangle geometry because they all have to add up to make 180. So putting this into my identity, replacing it with the purple angle, I can see that theta by itself must be equal to that red side, or the red angle here must be equal to theta. And so that angle is the angle between the new y-axis and the gravity. So that's why that angle is equal to the angle of the ramp, and that will always be true for these types of problems. So that's how you do ramp problems. As usual, the way that you get better is practice.